In China, the 7th builder is unlocked by purchasing the Diamond Pass, but in the global version, we have the Goblin Builder. And did you know the Builder's Potion lasts different times depending on the version? Or that in China they have a Trophy Road? Here are 30 differences between the Chinese version of Clash of Clans and the rest of the world.
Let's do this.
Now, leagues in Clash of Clans have always been represented by Roman numerals. You know, we have the lines for 3, 2, 1. But in China, it is literal numbers. It will tell you which league you're in, and you can't mix it up. But speaking of trophies, in the Chinese version, there seems to be an extra layer to progressing known as the prosperity system, which is nowhere to be found in the global version. This prosperity system seems to reward players for not rushing by giving players points based on how many things they've upgraded in their village. And you can climb this like a ladder. It goes pretty high up. It actually seems pretty rewarding as well. You can obtain old sceneries the more points and milestones you reach. And not only that, you can claim gems for maxing those buildings. It's like a anti-rushing feature. It's really interesting. It's like their own trophy road, but it's not based on trophies. All you gotta do is play the game. In the global version, gems are the main premium currency. You buy it with real money, and then you have gems to spend wherever. However, in China, before buying gems, you need to buy these special tickets, which is basically money that you can only spend in Clash of Clans, and then you can buy gems with that. Now, it may seem redundant, but this is done to dodge some laws revolving around microtransactions. But speaking of these tickets, so normally you can only buy magic items with like Clan War League or raid medals, right? But in China, you can basically buy any magic item at any point in a new premium tab in the shop using tickets. Now, this shop mostly has the same stuff as the rest of the world. However, they do have a new magic item called the Powerful Builder's Potion. Basically, this is the Builder's Potion, but way better. It boosts 24 times faster for 1 hour, meaning it cuts an entire day. This does not replace the normal Builder's Potion. This is simply a more expensive version that they have. In China, there's still a global chat. This was removed from the game back in 2019, but it reappeared in this version in a interesting way. The only way you can talk is by using this magic item called Magic Horns, which you can buy or earn throughout the game. And using a few of these horns, you can send a message to everyone. Literally, your message will appear at the top for everyone to see. But once you run out of horns, you can't talk. It's more like an announcement system than anything. Hammers. It's the one thing you can't buy. You'll never find it in an offer or anywhere to buy. You have to play Clan War League to get Clan War League medals to get hammers. Well, unless you're in China, you can buy them, but they'll cost you this new premium gold token currency. This currency does not replace Clan War League medals, but rather something you can buy or earn from several parts of the game, for example from the Diamond Pass. Now, there's no hiding the fact that Clash of Clans has a lot of skeletons. In the global version, it's everywhere, but in China, these skeletons iron skins look different. Yes, they're known as iron skins, and they look like they're wearing a metal helmet instead of being a skeleton. Now, in some troops it looks kind of weird, but I think it works pretty well in others. It makes it look like it's a hollow knight armor, like a dead knight spirit is fighting in its old armor coming back to haunt everyone. I don't know. I don't hate it. You may know the healer as looking like this, but in China, it looks like this. No explanation needed on that one. Now, before we move on, I want to tell you about today's sponsor, HelloFresh. I mean, hey, I love cooking, but I suck at making things from scratch. I usually have to search something up and have to get tons of ingredients I don't have, so I end up overspending for a simple meal. It can be hit or miss, but not with HelloFresh. Every week you can choose from a selection of delicious meals, whether you're trying to watch your calories or get your protein up. It is fully customizable to your preference. And when the box shows up at your door, every meal is in its own paper bag with fresh, pre-portioned ingredients, so you only pay for what you need. When it's finally time to get cooking, it's pretty straightforward. The instructions will walk you through the prep, and in no time you'll be a certified chef. Well, maybe not, but if I could do it, anybody can. Now, out of the 3 meals I picked, my favorite had to be the triple mushroom truffle penne, but I basically inhaled it. I didn't get any footage of it. But man, these meals are very tasty and easy to make. As you can see, I'm working on these sesame soy beef bowls here, and this thing was busted. And hey, they're currently giving away a free breakfast item forever with your active subscription. But not only that, with my link down below or using my code, you can get 10 free meals. So if you're interested, check it out now. Now, back to the topic. Functionally, traps work the same way between both versions, but if you look closely in the Chinese version, traps have no logos. This is the same reason why skeleton troops look different. Skeletons are a no-no. However, in the case of traps, they don't replace it with anything, they're just blank. What trap is it? I don't know, red or black? Now, while the rest of the world got to experience chess for the first time recently, in China, they've had a totally different kind of chess for way longer than the rest of us. Loot boxes. Using tickets, you can open several of these boxes, and in them they contain different items needed for the gacha system. Yes, gacha system! The rest of the world doesn't have such a feature, but the Chinese version does, and it integrates into a lot of areas in the game. Those chests we mentioned earlier can give items to put into the gacha system for a chance to unlock several exclusive cosmetics. Think of it as going to the arcade and you need those special tokens to play any of the games to get rewards. It's basically gambling. But speaking of cosmetics, let's take a look at a couple, like hero skins. There are so many China exclusives. I'll try and compile some of them here, but there are simply way too many. Now, while both versions having different skins may not be that crazy, I did notice some differences in that these skins usually have different kinds of effects, and they never look like the hero themselves, especially the world champion who has a different skin color. Now, I understand there may be some cultural differences, but still pretty wild. Speaking of wild, in the global version, we have these legendary sceneries where you can zoom out a crazy amount. And they also have these cool intros. But in China, that's old news. They've already had these kinds of sceneries since like 2 years ago. Now, these sceneries are pulled from the gacha system, and apparently they're quite rare, so good luck. But I'm not sure if they call them legendary, but the price is. This is the daily login in the global version. It only appears when you're inactive for a while and return, so it's not a feature that everyone will get to experience, unless you quit one day. But in the Chinese version, daily logins seem to be something everyone can enjoy. There's even a way to get old hero skins for simply logging on for a certain amount of days. Now, surely you've seen those special deals in the Supercell shop that has you buy one tier and the next one is free and so on. I'm pretty sure in the Chinese side, they also have some similar packs. But they also have a unique kind of pack where you pay a one-time fee for the pack, but the rewards are only given to you once you've reached that Town Hall level. I've never seen anything like that. In the global version, if you create a new account and you want to level up as fast as possible, well, you gotta play the game normally or shell out some gems. However, in the Chinese version, this works a little differently as there's a literal gem to max feature built right into the game. Starting at Town Hall 4, you get this button to pop up, and this is known as the bulk upgrade screen. Basically, here you can upgrade your current Town Hall to max for some tickets, and this can range from a few bucks to hundreds of dollars. Interestingly though, you do get a complimentary base layout that you can choose yourself. Pretty sweet. But in other parts of the game, instead of making it look weird or blank, they've replaced them. For example, the champion's badge kind of looks like a barbarian and not a skull like we have. And the same thing goes for the Super Troop logo. It's the Barbarian King. But for some reason, the Legends League badge is blank. Pets between both versions are the same. Neither version has more than the other, and in both they function the same. But in China, there is an extra feature for your pets. You can customize their skin. Inside the gacha system, and presumably in other parts of the game as well, you can unlock these skins for your pets and even try them out in practice matches. Now, I've said it before and I'll say it again, but I just want to know what they did to my boy Diggy. I believe at some point this will come to the global version, but for now, this is exclusive to the Chinese server. Now, traditionally, in the global version, we're used to clicking on our XP level and heading over to the social tab to see your friends and whatnot. But in China, this is done way differently as they have a whole nother button in the home village, specifically for social stuff. Now, this is probably because of the fact that in China, there is no Supercell ID, so this is their own way of seeing all your buddies. But yeah, speaking of Supercell ID, when you first open the game, there is a way to log in with Supercell ID in the global version. This is the main way of accessing and managing your account, right? However, in China, that doesn't exist. Now, this seems to have changed several times, but the main way to log in into their version is using either WeChat, Kunlun, or Tencent. Season passes, we only have these silver and gold. It's not like Clash Royale where there was a third tier that was more expensive, but in Clash of Clans China, that is a thing. They have the Diamond Pass, and it gives you gold tokens, magic horns, 500 gems, some extra perks, and the 7th builder. Wild. Now, I'm not sure if Diamond Pass is the permanent name. It may have changed, as recently the Diamond Pass there has undergone some redesigns, but the fact is they have 3 tiers in their pass, which is quite interesting. But things get crazier in China. There are even more cosmetics on a whole other level that we don't have, like Town Hall skins. Yes, you can change the look of your Town Hall there, and they have some cool effects. These Town Hall skins are themed after their premium sceneries, so they're like a set. You pull them from the gacha system, so every one of these sceneries has a matching Town Hall skin. It's kind of cute. But that's not all. You can change certain village effects. Like in this one example, you can apply these birds to your village, and every time someone sees your village, this animation of birds flying around plays. In the global version, this is unheard of, as once you set a scenery, it is what it is. You get what you see. You can't change anything. With that said, because we can only change the scenery, we only have 2 tabs in this screen, one for the home village and the other for our war scenery. But because in China they have extra customization features, this looks a bit different, having extra tabs for the Town Hall skins and village effects. In the global version, the skeleton spell is red, but in China it's green. And it's not only the artwork, it's green when deployed as well. This is because red is seen as a positive color in China, and that is the opposite of what the skeleton spell represents: death. So it's green. Now, while there are several language differences in the global version, usually the names are a translation or a close enough name if there's no direct translation. But that's not the case with the poison spell in China. There, it is known as the damage spell. You better not call it poison. So in the global version, there is a report button. You can find it by clicking on someone's name in the chat. But this process is much more accessible and easy to find in China. It will appear as a orange button next to a player's name when visiting them. But speaking of players, profiles haven't been updated in years. There is no customization like some of us would like. Unless you're in China, where this is a thing already. You can have these banners in your profile, and you can find different designs from the gacha system. Not only does it appear in your profile though, it also seems to appear in chats, so that includes the chat and also the global chat. But the biggest and probably the most obvious, or it might not be that obvious, but both versions are developed by entirely different teams. The global version of Clash of Clans is developed by Supercell, whereas the Chinese version is developed by Tencent. Hence all of the crazy changes that they can make. It's their game. Yeah, those are the most significant changes between both versions. There's probably tons of other smaller features, but yeah, that's enough for today. I hope you guys enjoyed watching, but hey, why stop here? YouTube thinks you'll like this next video on the screen, so why don't you check it out? As always, Havoc Gaming out. Peace!